I didn't even pull that up.
Message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are awake, we are not alone. We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs,
We are awake, we are not alone.
if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset,
We are striving for more.
start taking iron today.
It's Friday, my dudes.
A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
And welcome to Have No Sphere right here on the Iron Realm Media YouTube channel. My name is Josh Corey, and this is a show that I've talked about for several weeks, and I'm excited to finally be able to make it happen. We have got some awesome guests with us tonight. But before we jump into that, let's say hello to some friends of mine, starting off with my pal, Zachary Zabala. You might know him as Good Times for All here on the YouTubes. What's happening, Zach? How you doing?
Hey, Josh. Seems like I just talked to you just a couple hours ago. Yeah. Got a couple hours of sleep. Nice little nap in. So, yeah, I'm ready to go. I mean, the conversation we had pre-show was awesome.
Yeah, well,
I hope.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, I hope we can, just have another conversation that good. Because, I don't know, folks. That was pretty awesome. Sorry, you missed it.
Ain't that the way it goes, though? Some of our best conversations are just before we go live.
Oh.
Or just after.
Just after, yeah. Well, someone who I haven't gotten the chance to speak with, well, it's been a couple weeks now since I wasn't here last week, and we weren't here last week, is Mrs. Cammie Nodell. Cammie, my dear, how are you? How's everything this crazy holiday season?
Well, it is crazy and wonderful. I am doing good. We are going to be christening a hot tub tonight. So that's a happy. I'm going to probably try to even bow out of the show early a little bit and listen from it, or fry myself with the headset on there, until I figure out how to do live from being immersed in water. I know I'm going to figure it out. Maybe they have waterproof headphones. But yeah, no, we're very blessed. We have the electricals and the pad set in, and it's all ready to go. It's delightful, and so very happy. I'm the rude person that said you guys, our pre-show is too good. We really should be sharing this because, we're not going to all try to remember what we were talking about, but it was good stuff.
It was.
It really was. And you're not the rude person. You're the motivator. You're the one trying to keep us on track. Keep the train going down the rails the way it should be. So let's go ahead and jump right in and say hello to Mrs. Maez and BooDa. I said Mrs. We call Miss Maez. It's always in my head, Mrs. Maybe it's
Well, I
because
am married, so.
and you're married to a guy named Josh, and maybe
Yes,
that's
I
why the
am.
whole Mrs. gets discombobulated in my brain. But welcome to Have No Sphere. We are super excited to have you guys on here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this for a while. A little nerve-wracking too, I might add.
Yeah, at
Nervous,
first,
yeah.
man. Yeah, it's weird for sure. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's very official.
You've made it because you're on the Iron Realm Media.
This is the pinnacle of it right here. I mean,
Aw, don't say
I pretty
that.
much give up after this.
I'm pretty fucking stoked about it. So.
Me too. This is great.
Well, I'm really stoked too. The problem I have that I ran into today was we had to go grocery shopping just before I came into the studio. So before I went live, I spent like 45 minutes having to negotiate Walmart, and I hate it. I've decided that I would rather go to 15 different stores than be able to get it all done at one, because fuck that one. God, I hate it. And it put me in such a pissy, bitchy mood. Just walking through there. I'm like, ugh. I'm like, damn it. And I know Miss Maez and BooDa are coming on, and I've got to go do this show being bitchy and pissy. And I've got to figure out a way to boost my energy, change this vibe, because they're going to pick up on that shit right away.
All good.
So
we'll change. We'll get her going.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
Oh, well, like Walmart, we were there, I can't remember, like a couple weeks ago, and I could just hear the clicking or the beeping of the cashiers with all the shit. And like in my head, I had this whole narrative. I'm like, it's with every beep, that corporation is making a record killing, while all these consumers are just emptying their wallets for what fucking purpose? And they don't realize they're feeding a machine. And I try to make it funny in my head. It didn't make my husband laugh when I was saying it out loud.
Same thing happened to me, because they took out the regular cashier lines and they basically like doubled it up. So you have a half a cashier on one side and half a cashier on the other. And you fit two of them in the full line, but you end up with these third of a sized conveyor belts. And now we got a whole bunch of stuff at Walmart, but I'm having to stack it vertically. I'm like, well, fuck it. I guess this is what they wanted, right? Otherwise, they would have just left it big enough for all the shit. But they wanted to shorten it, so they must not have wanted us to put it all spread out. They must have wanted us to stack it to make it a real pain in the ass. So that's what I started doing. And of course, my wife didn't appreciate the logic. And, you can go wet out in the car if you're really that. All right, I get it. I get it.
I usually do wait in the car.
Yeah. I bet I can segue this back into our earlier conversation in a way that you wouldn't think that could be done. But I bet I can do it, and I'm going to try. Standard of living is like a coin of like it's a term on how many possessions you have and what you have around you. And it was first coined in the Victorian era. And what's interesting about that was the first time, the masses had wealth and they all had their own little homes and decorating it, and it became their castle, right? And what came along with that, with the standard of living is the fashion and getting everything, all the colors right and everything in your house and decorating and getting all your possessions and going to your Walmart and doing that. And so all of the rage, if you go back there and even go to the books, for wallpapers. For the first time, people had wallpapers. It was something that only, very rarely got done. And this chemist invented this color green that didn't fade. It was like this beautiful vermilion, or this, gorgeous green, and it didn't fade out like the other wallpapers. In fact, they have some of that wallpaper from the Victorian age, even in the books, and it's not faded at all. And everybody had to have it to make their house. It was published in the magazines and that to make their house warm and be the king of their castle. But what happened is that green was created by arsenic, very, very high content arsenic. This is a true story, Zach, with our chemicals and everything. And so people were putting up arsenic all over their homes, and they were that was your second wave of cholera, by the way. And babies were reaching in and they would pull a piece and they would chew on the wallpaper and they would die. And people would, this is the beginning of the health spas where people would go to the sea and feel so much better in these health spas and get well spas by the waters because it was taking them out of the heavy arsenic that was laid all over their castles because they had to have possessions, and it put them out in nature, out by the sea and in the water. And guess what? They got better, and then they went back home to their arsenic and castles and got sick again. Pretty soon, people started noticing a pattern with this and they tested that there was arsenic, and they knew that they were making arsenic in the thing and saying that this could be making people sick. And the wallpaper manufacturers that were selling at record would have nothing of it. They denied all responsibility. They took no, it was too big. They were too big to fall. And what it took the group of small people and making small companies that were starting to advertise wallpaper with no arsenic. And all of a sudden, just like if you think about like the restrictions of not labeling what's not evil about your product, that began, and it changed the entire wallpaper industry. And they no longer use arsenic in it, but it wasn't the government, it wasn't the health. They denied everything till the end. It was grassroots people selling each other wallpaper with no arsenic in it. But that's alchemy, chemistry, shopping, possessions, and I think I can tie it into.
Well, yeah. When do you remember fluoride-free toothpaste? That didn't start happening until grassroots people started making fluoride-free toothpaste for people, and then it started getting around in stores and stuff like that. It started getting bigger, and then Colgate and all these other people started making. Oh, we can make a fluoride-free brand now.
Right. It
But
won't
yeah,
happen on its own. And
there's
the big
always a
companies
market
still
for
deny.
it.
Yeah. And also that gets you take you to the use of chemicals, the good and bad, and chimera or I'm not doing it right. Give me the word.
Chiral.
Chiral. Talk to us about Chiral.
Chiral. Yeah, I started watching Breaking Bad again today. Don't know why. I just got this urge for some reason. I was like, I'm gonna watch it again. It's been, a long time since I've watched. Since I've been woken up to, at least the flat Earth. And I was like, I'm gonna go watch it. And like on the first or second episode, he's talking to his class about chiral elements. And I guess Louis Pasteur supposedly figured this out. Not sure. That's according to his story. But there's certain elements that it's not just an element. There's a right hand one and a left hand one. So it's actually two elements. They're the exact same size, the exact
Mirror
same
image.
weight. Yeah, but they're a mirror image of each other. And one is beneficial while the other one is hazardous to humans and to the environment, to anything that's alive. And we were talking about earlier before the show. I think this is what they do with mercury. In India, in temples, probably today or whenever their day is, there's going to be somebody eating raw mercury. Like the whole congregation, instead of eating the blood of Christ and the wafer and the wine, they eat raw mercury with these different elements amalgamated into it. It's crazy. I'll see if I can find the video again. Someone shared it with me, but they're doing that today. And over here in the West, what we get, everything is the mercury's bad. So what they're trying to do, chiral discrimination is what it's called. And it's separating this element that looks exactly the same, but it's like a mirror image. Then it's all mixed up. That's why it'll stick together, because it's all the same density, the same mass, the same electrical everything, but it's just mirrored the way that the compounds put together. And they've been working on ways to separate probably every element. But I think they already know how to do this with mercury, and that's why all the mercury we see over here is bad. But mercury is very important. So what if after they're done doing their alchemical process to separate the good and the bad, they keep the good, but they need to find something to do with all this poison? So you feed it to your enemy. I don't know.
The one thing that comes to mind is the fact that there was somebody that said a long time ago in the foo-foo sort of energetic realm that they are trying to create a synthetic world. And if you really think about every medicine that has come along, it's based upon a plant that has been then turned into a synthetic. I mean, they even took, for my Hashimoto's, they've taken the hormone that triggers the thyroid to produce more more hormone thyroid stuff to regulate the body. They've synthesized that and turned it into something not good. I've been taking that medication since 2008, and 2000 ironically enough, that medication has also caused me depression and anxiety that are off the charts, and I've been trying to mitigate that ever since. So to take something natural, and a lot of people that turn around and have Hashimoto's have been saying, well, do iodine drops and do this and do this and do something back, which is in the natural. I really honestly think that maybe, what your theory sounds absolutely correct. And maybe the mercury that we are getting here is the unnatural synthesized version of mercury, the natural product. Because I bet you 10 to 1, if you went and got natural mercury, we would probably be like, okay, it is totally fine. Doesn't cause cancer, doesn't do this, doesn't do that.
Mm-hmm. And it's like the stuff we're doing right now. They'll take plastic molecules or oils, and they mimic them in a way to where it looks like a vitamin. It looks like this, this element that you would need, calcium or this or that. And your body thinks you're getting calcium, but it's really not. It's a synthetic element that they're creating. So what if they synthesized stuff a long time ago even, and we're finding remnants of it, and they're trying to discover ways to separate it now because they know that some of it's real and some of it is the synthetic stuff. I don't know.
Now I'm going to
Or
jump
they've
in
just
here.
been doing it so long. Yeah.
With the synthetics, remember we were talking again in pre-show and the way they mess up the language and the words, and that with the synthetics and how long they've been doing it. And they've been doing it for as long as history is recorded in one way, because making synthetics in rocks is actually growing a natural or forcing a natural one to grow. So if you make a synthetic sapphire, you actually grow a sapphire that's the same as what you would do that. It's synthetic. It wasn't done by nature, it was done by man, but everything about it is the same other than the growing technique. So that would be interesting on the lattices, that and the energy is produced like on a metaphysical level, to see the differences of what nature created, compared to our sloppy replicas. But synthetic itself can be the exact same component. It's just us learning how to make it, and we tag that synthetic too. Did I just complicate things more, or like make it really boring?
No.
It's kind of like, should we have done the blah 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 for that one? For the peanuts.
No,
For those of us old enough to remember Peanuts Christmases, and that whenever an adult talked, you'd hear it as wah wah wah.
No, I was actually just processing what you're saying, because I bought my mom a ring for Mother's Day quite a few years ago, and it was a mother's ring, so it had all of our birthstones in it, and her birthstone is emerald, and that's a more expensive. Yes, yeah. And it's a more expensive gemstone if you get it not.
Yes, if it's not ugly.
Yeah, if it's not synthetic. And I didn't want her to have a synthetic stone. I was like, why the fuck would I? It's just a few dollars more, right? I'm going to pay for the real stone as opposed to this synthetic fucking bullshit, like, forget that. Because you get like all that natural vibration and frequency within a natural stone, as opposed to something synthetic that who knows like what was put into that, what energy was put into that.
It's kind of like eating chicken, and was it free range? Was it again, free to grow, have a happy experience, a happy life versus something, cooped up, stacked on top of each other, forced by us to happen.
Mhm.
But yeah, rocks, as they grow, they have their experiences and their energy in that happening. So I agree with you that even though they'll on all equipment test out the same, there's something very different. There's something very different that we label them and put a price difference on them when appraising them, and we spend countless hours keeping up with, because as long as there's been shiny baubles that have a lot of value to them in that short little package, there have been people trying to fake out what those little things were. Think about it.
Right. For
As long
sure.
as there's been gemstones, there's been fake gemstones too, or things that are meant to mimic it, or people trying to create and get that cash really quickly and easily. So yep, bringing us back
Diamonds.
diamonds, yeah, getting us right back to that Walmart mentality of standard of living equaling what you have in possession. So see, we are tying this in with the beginning of the show.
That's totally weird because, like, when you said the standard of living and you started equating it to all these things, like, what you have and what you did, the funny thing is I was running through my head and I'm just like, standard of living. For me, it's having those meaningful experiences with family and friends.
That's what it was before the Victorian
Yeah.
age. That's where it switched over. It switched over. Their standard of living before was your happiness, your family. Your standard of living was how many children, how many healthy children you had in your relationships, and a family was like more valued than property. I mean, you'd be sad for somebody that had a nice house and no children to fill it with love or anything. What do you have? Nothing to pass on to, and cold, barren. But yeah, around the Victorian age, we switched it over that standard of living no longer meant your relationships, your well-being, your happiness. It meant how many possessions you can collect. And they started keeping track of it. Changed the world.
That is so interesting to think about, because like growing up, I didn't have a lot of things, and my family didn't have a lot of money, but I didn't realize I was poor because I was surrounded by love and connection with my family, so I never really understood that. I mean, my friends would have things and I'd be like, how come, they have that? And I think that was like a program like inserted to make me want material things when I was happy without them.
Happier without them, and happier without like the jealousy of, and then you started putting brand names on the things that were the same, like, oh, a pair of jeans is functional now. If you put this name on it, you can charge $800 for the pair of jeans, and it's more. I mean, it starts getting so absurd.
It is. And depending on the store you go to is the price. And, you can go to Ross and get some fucking Nike jacket for $30, but you go to Nordstrom's and it's $500. Makes no sense.
Made by the same people, probably, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, and then, again, and we've done this before in the jewelry industry. If you go to the mall and if you go to the 3 jewelry stores and shop around one thing against each other, you'll always find better deals on different products at different stores, so you comparison shop. But if you follow the background of who owns the companies, they're all owned by the same company that stocks them pretty much with similar merchandise that is priced higher on this line at this store and this line at, again, where that way people can shop and say, wow, I saw that same ring for half price at the store down there. I better run down and get it. It's really a good deal. But yeah, it's all like this little psychological setup.
Perceived value.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, some people want to pay more because of perceived value. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I fucking
Exactly.
got it here and it was $3,000, but you can get it at Walmart for like $200, man.
Who wants to have their engagement ring from Walmart?
My wedding ring is from Walmart.
Oh, sorry. Just say Cammy.
Because you know what? $100, and at Sears it was like $300 or $400.
See, okay, and it looks like the same. And who would do it? But yeah, it's how we're programmed. And you could go to Tiffany, and you could have spent a lot more on the same one. I mean, you would have spent $1,800 on it. So, but you'd have the Tiffany logo, and it would be very well finished. So yeah.
It'd be fancy.
It'd
I'm
be
not
fancy.
into that shit. Like
Right.
my wedding ring, I lost half of it. My children lost it down the sink. Oops. I bought my
Happens.
husband 2 wedding rings and they're gone. You know, it's like, whatever. No big deal.
Yeah, like you said, they're just possessions, and having that mentality is what gets us into this mess we're in the first place. Like the more
No,
I have, the more, the happier I am.
Ugh.
Starting to get to Edward Bernays sort of stuff where it's creating the perfect consumer.
Mm-hmm.
That was back in what, the 50s? Edward Bernays or was he before that? Was he before
Yeah,
this?
he was. Well, his book Propaganda was used by the Nazis, so I think it was probably in the early 40s.
Yeah, something like that. The Tavistock Institute and all that. Fuck. Getting women to have them make cake from a box, box cake, and having to add the eggs to it made women want to
it
purchase
changed the
that.
whole world. It
Yeah.
changed the world on the cake companies. You're right. They would not sell them, but women, because they felt like they were lazy putting them together, just making a cake from a box and stirring in water. So the powdered eggs that worked perfectly and just as well in the kitchen, they took out the powder and made it that people had to crack an egg into it, and the women were, now I'm actually making a cake because I had to whisk an egg into it, and it changed the entire dynamics of it. Just like with shampoo, do you know how they increased the sale of shampoo? Everybody does. They changed the words on the instructions. They said rinse and repeat. It was the best ever. And they sold
Wow.
twice as much shampoo by just putting rinse and repeat. Like, how do marketing geniuses?
Wow.
And the thing is like, we're all pretty much good thinkers. I mean, within this group, we all sit around and we question everything, but that's just something that never crosses the mind. It's something so simple, something so nonchalant. And that's where the danger lies. It's those little nonchalant little things that just get into your head and then start twisting and turning things inside. And it's like just using the double amount, not probably even 4 times the amount of the shampoo that you actually need. Because really, honestly, I know people that haven't washed their hair in, a few weeks, and they have great looking hair. Wish I had enough hair to do that. But, the less, it just seems like that stuff is stripping out the natural oils.
Mhm,
And
it
to do
does.
that twice in one shower, it's just.
No, it's talked about in marketing. Again, you have meetings, and that is one of the legendary ways that, ways things in marketing that can really, really drive businesses. And that's like on top of the legends, is the person that thought of that was just freaking brilliant. Yeah, you're right. You go through a whole bunch more product, and you go through you strip it. It's not. If you wash your hair good the first time, I'm sure it's fine. But the rinse repeat that you think is part of it, it's great. It wasn't there before. I mean, it was a marketing meeting put in there, and it was something that was effective. Just like they talk about what colors, how they affect you, what you'll reach and buy, what shelf it's supposed to be on, what aroma should be in the store, what music should be playing. We're all under intentional mind control most of the time. If you have a TV on, if you're out in a mall, if you're in a store, if you're on that, it's just, again, we feed them so much data, and they use it and they feed it back to program us, for profit. I guess, for money would just be the easiest. You can do a lot of things, but yeah, for money. But yeah, just always be aware of it. Step outside of it. We all are aware, and relook at, again, the shampoo bottle before putting that second dose on, for sure. But it's fascinating that we are so easily programmable. And Durham Brown, I think, demonstrates, as far as
Oh,
videos
that's
of
so
everybody.
eerie. Have you ever seen the one? He's in the mall talking. There's music playing, but it's not subliminal. You can hear it, but it's not really abrupt. It's not like wah wah wah, wah, when there's music. It's lower than the music almost. And at this one time, he says, "All right, I'm going to do this, and now all you guys are going to throw your left hand up into the air." And like 75% of the people just walking around the mall for no reason all of a sudden just took their left hand and stuck it up in the air.
They didn't know
Now,
why.
I don't know if it's real.
Oh wow.
I mean,
No,
it
it's real with him. He's done enough that his is real, and that
but
he
humans are
does.
programmable.
He shows the
And
tricks
it was like a
behind.
half hour, just a half hour. He did this. He wanted to show how quickly a mass of people could be programmed to do something
This is why
and not
I
know
got
why
pissy.
they did it.
This is what makes me a bitch at Walmart. Is because they are the most profitable company. So it's not like they don't take these things into consideration. So when they hire the slowest fucking cashiers they can possibly find, it's not on accident. They've
No,
done
it's
the
not.
research.
And the longer you're in that lane, the more apt you are to remember what you forgot to reach back to go into and reach into the side aisles. That's why you have all of those little end caps and that right around the front. You're in a foul mood, and then you're remembering you don't ever want to come back to the store again until you think about send your kid to that aisle and grab this too, because God forbid you don't want to come back. But no, yeah. It's cheaper. They make more profit making it an unfortunate experience for you sometimes too. Again, remember, it's a profit at stake, not your feelings. They're not the feelings, please.
I get it.
They're trying to make a profit here.
I was going to get ice cream, and I don't make decisions well. I can't really decide on anything. So something like ice cream is no small undertaking for me. So when I just said I had a plan, the plan was I'm going to go get the big tub of cheap stuff, the generic stuff, and I'm going to go get some Magic Shell, which I love on anything. So Magic Shell is going to just improve the cheap ice cream, turn cheap ice cream into good ice cream. So I run over, grab the tub of cheap ice cream, spin around to the end cap to grab the fucking Magic Shell, and oh, guess what? It's not there. Oh, fuck. So I walk around not on the other side. So now I'm pacing back and forth the fucking frozen section, looking for the Magic Shell ice cream topping.
There's no other use for it.
And I'm pissed, right? Because I know that they're not going to put it by the ice cream. They're going to put this shit halfway across the fucking store. So I've got to walk my happy ass to get it and pick up shit along the way. So I said, fuck you and fuck the ice cream. I'm not getting either. And that's what it was that sort of mentality that really pissed me off. And this is why it's therapy, because now I get to come and vent about my adventures of Walmart. And I'll just take a little.
You should have called me, Josh. I would have told you that's down the gravy aisle with the Oriental food.
You know, like
what the fuck is wrong? Yeah, I know.
Good on you for saying, "Fuck it," you're not going to play their game. Really, you just. In that moment, just decided, you know what? This is horse shit. It doesn't make sense what they're doing other than for marketing schemes. Fuck you. Good on you for that.
There's two. I'll make it quick. We have a store up here called Superstore, and we call it Stupid Store because, well, that's what mostly is there. But on one side of the store, and they're like a big box store, like they're giant Walmart sort of size grocery stores. And on one side of the store, they have like the cheeses and the breads and all that sort of stuff. And on the other side of the store, the exact opposite, is the same thing, but it's more of the organic sort of like you could buy the goat's cheeses and all the healthier sort of choices you have to. So if you're sitting there in that aisle and you're like, well, no, I should probably eat being a bit better. You have to walk all the way across the store through all the aisles, get to all the way to the other side to make that decision. And it's just like the shit that's in between that one side to the other. Of course, you're going to stop in the aisles. It's like, oh my God, I need like pizza sauce, or I need this or that. But I will add a little extra thing here because I totally feel you, Josh. Every time that I go to a stupid store or a grocery store, I just get depressed. I just absolutely deep depression really comes in, and I don't know what that's about. I'm still trying to figure that out. Maybe it's the energy in the place. I don't know. But the last time that I went to a store was yesterday. I walked in there, and where I am I'm in BC, Canada. Where we are, we just have new restrictions that were brought in for this COVID stuff that's just happened. So anyways, all these new restrictions that are coming in, all these mask wearing people are walking around and, they're proudly showing their virtue signaling mask sort of stuff. And I'm walking through the store and I'm just like, hey, there's a person going by without a mask. oh my God, another person. And I'm sitting and I'm realizing I'm wearing a mask and I can't smile to them. I'm just like, so I just started walking by. I'm like, yeah, and then just giving them that positive reinforcement, like, yeah, you're doing the right thing, keep going. And I started talking to a few people about it, and they're just like, I'm done. There's no way I'm getting all these boosters. There's no way like, people are starting to wake up to this BS, and I'm really happy for it. So it's just a little bit of a positive note on something that's a little depressing, like a grocery store.
Yeah, see, here there are no mandates or anything like that. So, but you do see a lot of people at the grocery stores that are in that type of mood. So what I do, I just walk around with a big, giant, cheese-eating grin on my face. Just a big, happy grin, and 90% of the people can't help but smile back.
That's awesome.
And then you see them again later in the aisle, and they look different almost. Just the smile is so powerful.
Oh,
It's my favorite weapon. It's my
totally.
favorite weapon, making people smile.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a water guy out here, and I think I mentioned it on one of our shows. But him and I, we started talking about all this sort of crap, and we both came to the conclusion, it's just like, you know what? Because he's a really happy, outgoing, positive, super hyper guy. And I'm just like, you know what? It's just the whole mentality of just every time that you go out, change the place and the person that you come across to be something better than when you found them. If your energy can just bring everyone up and just go, fuck yeah, this is great. It's finally great to have another connection with somebody else in a positive sort of manner. If you can make somebody laugh, you won. And then walk away. That's all you got to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so powerful. And it's those little things that if everybody focused on stuff like that, man, this place would be so much better.
Yeah. I think
So I'm going to be rude and interrupt everything to uninterrupt. Something I hate people doing, but my son, I've got the whole people, my baby in Colorado's on the phone, so I'm going to drop out and drop back in for a holiday call, okay?
Oh, I
Tell
guess
Jaron I said hi.
Sounds good.
All right. I will do that. I'll be back.
But yeah, especially now, this time of year, I think people need smiles. But again, I can say that where I'm at, it's pretty laid back, and it has been here in South Carolina. I mean, maybe in some of the bigger cities, there might be some stuff going on, but it's really laid back when you go. It's like 90%, 95% not wearing masks. You'll see a couple people that it's usually older people, not many young people at all. I think they're all done with it. They're seeing through it, like you were saying. But I think that the programming, the more decades that it goes on, the more it sets in.
You know, it's kind
They don't even have a choice to logically think about it.
I kind of wonder about that, because there was a lot of damage. I mean, from the time that this is going to be a bit tough, but stop me if you think I'm going a little too far. But from the beginning of the Socialist Party in Germany, before the World War II there, what they turned into, the programming and the propaganda that they put out to program the people to hate a certain group that are within certain countries. That programming lasted to some of the times when these people went out and they were hunting them down, and they got them when they were in like their 80s or 90s. And some of the trials that they went through, I remember reading about one trial, and this guy who was programmed, he was part of the the Nazi youth or whatever, and he still believed it till the day he died. Mm-hmm. Like, the programming that is going on, so far we're 2 years in, maybe 3. But I mean, like, even go back before that, when when all this social justice stuff started coming up, and the communist sort of ideals that are being programmed into the school system, we could probably go back maybe 8 years, almost 10 years now, and we would be able to see that within the school system. So, let's say we're 10 years in on this. are those kids, when they turn 80, 90 years old, I mean, are they still going to believe that a certain group, a certain skin color is primarily evil? I mean, like, are these kids going to be okay? Is this reversible? I guess is the question I'm trying to ask.
I think cannabis would help a lot. No joke at all. It's been, I mean, there's plenty of doctors and scientists out there that are fighting the good fight. And, a lot of them have been blackballed and all that kind of stuff, but they'll come right out and say cannabis fights propaganda. It fights that subliminal attack that we get from all these different directions. Some reason, if you smoke cannabis, that stuff you can like see, it's like the glasses don't fit on your face for some reason. They fall off. I don't know why. I'm sure it has something to do with one of the creator's little, tools that he gave us. This plant that can grow just about anywhere.
Yeah,
Well, and think like for the propaganda and shit to stick, they had to take cannabis out of the, pharmaceutical or pharmacology stuff and out of circulation for people to ingest or smoke or however the heck you want to take it. They take
Reefer madness. Yep.
Yeah. And then insert the programming of how terrible cannabis is, but it freaking isn't. Like cannabis is amazing. You can use it for so many different things. It's so helpful on many levels.
The propaganda against cannabis back then was absolutely insane because I can't think of a single time. I don't care how wasted stoned I was. I don't think I've ever had the urge to play piano and then jump out of a window into the parking lot. I don't think I've ever had that. That's never come across my brain. It's a bad joke.
Well, yeah, no, and physically, your body cannot. You're not going to die going through withdrawals. You might get an upset stomach. You might have this or that. It's not fun withdrawing from anything. It sucks. But with cannabis, the withdrawal is tolerable. You might get cranky for a couple days, but your body can handle it. You don't need, yeah. And I mean, somebody who smokes every day, all day, they can quit cold turkey right now. And yeah, for a few days, their stomach might be a little messed up or something, but that's it.
Even
and things start getting back to normal.
The
I
thought
think for
gives me
me,
such
my
anxiety.
nerves would just freak the fuck out. It'd be like going without coffee. I don't know. Is that possible?
I've heard it being done. I don't know if I believe it.
I did it.
See?
Up on a mountain in New Mexico. I took my last 2 bowls and gave it to the mountain because it asked for it. I was thinking I was going to go be applying for a job here in a couple weeks. So I figured I better get cleaned out, take a real piss test. It's been a decade at least since I've done it. So yeah, I got cleaned out, but yeah, I mean, and out there it was cool because I was living on fruit anyway. I was eating apples and oranges, and I'd have like cheese and crackers a couple times a week, something like that. Maybe I'd get some summer sausage and throw it in there. But yeah, I was drinking pretty much nothing but water, a lot of water, all day long out in the desert. So yeah, I mean, the withdrawals really weren't that bad out there, and I was surrounded by not a sign anywhere, just walking around the desert with my dog. It was awesome.
Martin Lika
So if you
says he
can,
was straight for 8
go out
minutes.
to nature for sure. When you're any type of withdrawal, seek out nature. It will help. It's such a great tool we have.
Martin Lika says he was straight for 8 minutes once. It was horrible. He says, nah, that's a lie. I've never been straight.
This is going back to, I don't know if we talked about it on the show or not. I mean, we're an hour in already, but I remember at the beginning, prior to, we were talking about the overload of frequencies.
Yeah.
And, with the satellite transmissions, all of that sort of stuff, the 5G, all of the frequencies that are being bombarded at our bodies all at the same time, because really we are just nothing but frequencies. We're vibrating, our cells are vibrating at a frequency, our brains, our nervous system is working at a frequency, our bladder works at a frequency, some faster than others. And getting out into nature, I think when you can get away from those cell towers, that is the biggest thing that you could possibly do for your own well-being. And I mean, like it's common sense. It's almost clichéic now to say it, but I think that it affects people on such a deeper level than what we know. And getting out of those signals, and I don't know, maybe down in the States it might not be as easy to do, but up here in Canada, I mean, I could drive an hour and a half and I could be outside of any cell phone signal whatsoever. I mean, we still have to deal with the satellite signals, but they're not really that strong unless you have like a 1.2 meter dish or something like that. You can bring it in and get a small DC electrical current. So,
but yeah, they've definitely. I was looking at some papers. These guys back in the 60s and 70s were doing high altitude measurements of the electrical atmosphere around us. And the bottom 10 kilometers, what is that, about 70,000 feet, something like that, where they say a lot of these balloons and satellites, the balloon ones, are floating around up there. Yeah, everything from below there is so non-natural, non-linear. It's still linear, but there's a lot of static, like a lot of distortions. There's so much electrical stuff being shot, these radio frequencies, all this stuff out into the atmosphere, that it's really not natural the way we're living. We're not meant to live in this electrical world that we've created. Now some people have adapted to it, of course. Some people can handle it, but I think if we go back and look at when these things were introduced, I bet there's been major like die-offs throughout history. And I don't know. I know we did it a lot with the radar. Once we started using radar and stuff like that, we had some weird outbreaks right around that time. Spanish flu was right around the time they started broadcasting radio frequencies all over the earth.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah,
shortwave radio, right? I think that was around that time, wasn't
it might be. I'm not the shortwave guy. That's Savage and Bob know the shortwave radio stuff.
Well, I'm thinking like when the smart meters came out, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia shortly after the smart meters were put on our homes. And I don't know if I had symptoms of it before, but I know that I had them after, for sure. For sure. And when we had our home out in the country, we had the smart meter removed and a different meter put on because I was like, fuck that shit. I have children. It's terrible.
You can
And we had to pay for it. We had to pay to have it removed and the other one put on. And we also had to pay a monthly fee for it to have a meter reader come out, even though they used to have meter readers come out. It's like, what the fuck? Why am I paying you to not poison myself? That's fucking ass backwards.
Right. And then if I'm not paying the meter reader with the smart meter, why the fuck didn't my bill go down this much?
Right.
If he's not coming out to read it, why am I still paying him to? And if I'm not still paying him to, why the fuck am I paying him now?
See, up here we have smart meters that are all over the houses, and there's still somebody that comes out and checks those meters.
Really?
So I don't understand the point of that.
They fucking drive around here in a truck with a thingy, some sort of thing that picks up on the meters as it drives by. It's weird. And I have like a little EMF reader, and I've gone out by the smart meter, and it just pegs as soon as I'm like, probably like that far away from the meter. It just pegs red lines. It's like, I'm like, oh, that's bad juju.
It's way bad.
Well, I know. Well, I don't know for sure because it's his story. But did you guys know that the passenger pigeon, there used to be like billions of these things in North America alone. There's all kinds of people writing in old journals and diaries and newspaper articles about the sky being blackened out by this river of birds flying overhead for like 10, 20 minutes that you couldn't see through. You couldn't see the sunlight coming through it. Just huge, 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 huge. And then they started with the radios and the radar and all this stuff. And yeah, I mean, we still have them today, these weird mass bird. I think Nemo brought that up in chat. We'll have these mass animal die-offs in certain places.
Yeah,
and I wonder if it has to,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I wonder if it has to do with these new technologies and stuff being introduced into those areas.
I absolutely think it is, because I was just reading an article yesterday about, I think it's in Pittsburgh. They're going to change out all their city lights for full spectrum LED lights. And so they're hoping that it's going to cut on light pollution. And they're saying that light pollution is causing issues for insects and birds and things, because there's too much ambient light from all the street lights and people's lights on their homes and stuff. And so, but they're saying the issue with these full spectrum lights is for photographer or astrophotography, because they're full spectrum. You won't be able to block out any of those light frequencies. So your filters on your lenses and shit, they won't work. It'll just turn everything black. And I just, like if it's causing issues, well, they're saying it fucks with our circadian rhythm, which most of us here already know that, but they're, putting it out there so that people can see it, but they're not going to quite understand, like people that aren't aware of it, they're not going to understand how these lights are fucking with them. It's same with their computers and TVs and things like that, but they're putting it out there that they're doing this. And you're not going to be able to block the light to do astrophotography if you're in these city places.
That's the whole, right there, that is the perfect example. So the government, let's just say, whether it be local, municipal, or whatever, is trying to say, hey, we're going to do this. And it's only the select few people who turn around and go, hey, wait a minute, my circadian rhythm is going to be dependent upon the lights that are, going to be out there. I'm going to ask a question about it. And if you go to a town hall where they actually do bring that up and you turn, no, I don't like this. You're going to be that one voice that's going to turn around and say, hey, my circadian rhythm is going to get fucked up over this. My kid's circadian rhythm, all of our circadian rhythm. You might get one or two people who turn around and go, no, I'm with her. And the rest will be either silent or you'll be ridiculed. And the whole misinformation, lack of knowledge that has, we just have absolutely zero information. We know nothing about any of this stuff. And it seems like they have more of the information. Whether the municipal government doesn't have the information either, it's being directed to them from someone else. Because I remember seeing all of these LED lights that are being put in New Zealand, because I had a friend in New Zealand who was showing me these lights. They're new flat lights and they got a little thing on top of it. And I'm just like, oh, okay, that's a weird looking thing. Almost looks like a flying saucer on top of a pole. Kind of weird. And the next thing you know, it started popping up here. Then I started seeing them other places, all these other places. What do those lights really do? I know they say that they save power and they do this and that, but the light is weird. Just the energy from that. I know we talk about energy a lot, and yeah, you're probably all sick of it, but whatever. But I noticed that when I look at those lights, I'm just like, there's an aversion to it. I just don't like it.
No.
Nemo was
Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, Cam. When we were at Flattoberfest, my Van de Graaff generator, when I noticed when these children were playing with it a lot, they were really charging up the atmosphere around us. And when they would discharge it, we were up on a balcony overlooking the big ballroom, and my Van de Graaff generator is right at the same level as all these LED lights. And when one of the children would discharge it, it would zap all the lights, and they wouldn't flicker. They would all get real bright for a second. So Nemo pulled out his camera with super slow motion, and we realized that the lights are flickering all the time.
Yeah, I've seen that.
They are always flickering. They're never a constant, steady on light. And that
So
flicker
it's like
rate
being
can mess
strobed
with
you. Yeah, it can cause
Mhm.
seizures. It can cause
Mhm.
the different things. In Denver, I was in Denver when they switched out to save energy and save all of the money and everything. They switched out the traffic lights to LEDs because they're so much more efficient. And even though you have all of your other arguments and things like that, they miss some of the obvious that on lighting in Denver, when you take out the heat element, what happened is the first time it snowed, it filled the traffic signals with snow and nothing melted it off because there was no heat. So they put them in to save the
Oh.
money and not produce the heat. But without the heat, it didn't melt the snow. So then they had to make little heat units to put up to melt
Oh
the
my
snow. Yeah, because naturally what would happen on their own is the traffic signals, of course, them alternating would melt the snow so you could see the lights. And it does snow in Denver. So yeah, they have all of those arguments to not, and then they miss some of the obvious things like the fact that the north facing lights you're going to lose your entire signals because they're packed. You can't. So
Oh
can you have the
gosh.
things you see, and then you always have those things that you don't even think about till afterwards. So yeah, that saved them a
Right.
lot of money to take them out, replace them, and now put heaters in too with them. Kind of defeated the whole purpose now, I think. But
Don't you
that's
think
just
they
me.
would have known that? Like,
You would have thought that would have hit on some type of a study group. But I see that when they study things in study groups, again, they're focus groups. They stay on a group of focuses. I don't think they go outside their box. Oh, it
or
wasn't on the list to look at.
or it's just planned to cause chaos and bullshit just to fuck with people and have more costs be brought to the project, and oh, now we have to do this and now
Oh,
we have to
another
do
fuck
that.
up. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Could very well be, because you would think that they would account for in traffic light signals, and you would think that would occur, that when you took out the heat in a cold climate that snows a lot, that it might have some impact. So
Right.
I if
Common
I was on
sense,
that,
what?
a little application of reality would have kind of told you that two might have affected each other, but I don't think they look at that.
Well, it's like here the water plant or whatever for our drinking water, for the city water, it's in an industrial area. Like it never was before. It was pulled off of a river before, and now that they didn't want to upgrade that system, it would be too expensive, and so they let that permit slide as they built the new water plant. But like I said, it's in an industrial area, and the aquifer that they're pulling it from is underneath a fucking mill. And my husband said
Yeah,
they
it sounds
reversed,
safe.
right? They reversed the pipe flow, my husband said. And like after they switched all this water, people were breaking out in like skin rashes, and there's like weird shit, like weird, gross mold, nasty shit that grows that never used to before when it was pulled from the other river and everything. It's just fucking sick. I try not to use it without a filter. Like we distill water, but to make coffee and stuff, we have to pull from the sink because, shit's expensive.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do
we
the
have
thing with the
the
Berkey and the
Berkey.
distiller.
Yeah.
And my coffee maker's now got a little like a
Carbon?
Berkey filter. It's got a little charcoal filter on it now, the Keurigs, which is pretty funny to filter it through. But yeah, the water in different places, and you're right, what grows from it and the different. It's interesting how different it is from here and Denver. And again, filling the hot tub and just the baselines. Here, I have a whole jar of calcium to add in. That was never part of my protocol in Denver because the Denver water was so much harder to start with. That
Yeah,
I have it's all different. It's crazy.
that is interesting. Like the different places you go, the quality of water you get. And then, that's even the same with like wells and stuff. Different places have different quality of water to their wells. I've been to places that their wells were like so was it like sulfur that smells like eggs? Those
Oh,
gross.
Yeah, we had those in Indiana a lot, northern Indiana. Oh yeah, yeah. I have a water tester, like a ionizer,
Mm.
and I was testing the water down near Tampa Bay, Florida, in this town called Bradenton. My buddy A. McKenzie, shout out to Adam. Um, and the first day I got there, that's what I did. I tested his water for him, and it had this black film on top, which most of them do. City waters. I mean, even well waters, it'll be like a see-through like brown layer that gets on most well waters, and spring water is usually black as well. But this was this nasty black looking stuff. But the thing was, it got chemically hot. There was such a chemical reaction going on. I think it was 167 degrees, and then it melted the plastic cup that we had it in. And
Oh
I've
my
never seen
gosh.
anything like that. Yeah, he quit using it instantly. They probably never drinking it again to this day. He started buying those big 5 gallon things and bought they quit using that water immediately. So yeah, you got to really
Hmm.
check in your water and knowing what's in it. If you're going to drink it straight out of the tap, do some. I mean, the water ionizer was like $5 on Wish
I
for
do
one of
have
those.
I have an ozone generator that I could ozone my water with before using it in the coffee pot. I just never really thought about that till you're just saying that. I'm like, oh God, like if we do use a filter on the sink itself, but it doesn't filter everything out. It's a pure water filter, but those things are fucking pieces of shit. They're
no,
a gimmick.
they, for the first time, like for me ever, and this is hot tub number 4, we went and bought a hot tub and they told me they don't put ozonators on them anymore because of the environment. And it's like, really, are you going to stop the volcanoes and the other things too? But yeah, they
We're
took
gonna
they
stop the
took the
environment because we're
ozonator out
adding
of the
to the
hot tub, and I'm
environment.
not thrilled about that. Denver water. The thing about Denver water, I didn't drink it. Of course, we would do the purify it there too. But for the hot tub, it pretty much came out of the tap hot tub perfect, meaning the chlorine levels were perfect. the hardness, everything. No, seriously, it was like a mixed blessing. And it's like, well, this is why I don't drink it. Is you would almost start with Denver and not have to add anything because the floor or the chlorine really was that high. I mean, you could smell it in the water sometime for a low level on the pool, and the water was that hard in that. So the things you do here to prep it for a hard, a hot tub to hold it, that's your like rough water starting in Colorado. It's already like that. We're at the top of the water's different there. I mean, it's clear, bright, the mountain water and that it's because I like the water there better before they fluorinate it, of course, but the water itself, like out of the streams, that is beautiful.
Can I have lots of water? Yeah, just go take one out to the hot tub.
Yeah, that's how my favorite place on earth during like the summertime, because their winters are horrible. Northern Minnesota. It's this place called the Boundary Waters, just north of Ely, Minnesota. And there's no motorboats allowed, no jet skis, no motors of any kind on these rivers and lakes and streams. And it is so clean. You can go out there and just dip your jug down in the water. You don't want to do it near the edge where the water's not moving so fast. You go to the center where it's a little bit deeper and the water is always moving, but you can just dip your jug down into the water and then start drinking it. I've never been anywhere on earth where I could do that except there. And I just thought that was so magical being able to do that still. Didn't get sick at all.
My dad, my family owns some property down even in the middle of Missouri. It's one of the largest man-made lakes, but it's Lake of the Ozarks. And he's got like 75, 80 acres, sort of. It's on the lake, but there's not very much lakefront access. It's ideal for what I would think I would want, but it's just like way back in this little bitty cove. And It's not really good for partying, which sort of Lake of the Ozarks is known for. If you've ever seen the TV show Ozark, that's Lake of the Ozarks. And he's got this 80 acres down there. And just back from the shore of the lake, there's a freshwater spring that feeds into it. And my stepmom used to work at the hospital in the lab. So she went and sent the water test off to the local college and had it tested for purity. And it was absolutely pure to drink straight out of the ground.
That's awesome.
And the watercress that would grow where that spring fed into the lake, you could just walk by, grab a handful of watercress straight up out of the water, out of that sort of boggy, soft ground, and just munch on it by the handfuls, and then reach just all that peppery, burning chlorophyll, and then just soak it all up with the fresh spring water. And it was really magical when you're 12 years old, tromping through the woods.
I guess I'm kind of lucky up here where I live, because on any hike you can go out and hit a mountain stream and just put your bottle in there and just start drinking it. I mean, like, some of the best water I think I've ever come across was going up to Joffrey Lakes in BC, just north of Whistler. And it's that same sort of thing. You come right up to the glacier if you're brave enough to hike right up to it. And some of the water coming off it, you just put your jug under there and you just you bathe in it. It's just beautiful. It's just so amazing. And it's the clearest water you'll ever come across. It's so good.
Yeah, when I was in Manitoba, I think probably for liability reasons, they made us use iodine tablets for the water because we couldn't haul water with us, because that's just fucking unreasonable. So you would just fill your canteens right in the water where you're paddling and canoeing, but you never know exactly what's in there. So they always make you drop a couple iodine tablets in there just to make sure it's safe to drink. So I remember seeing spots where I thought, you know what, there's no way. I mean, humans have not set foot here. There's not much, I think, that is going to be bad in this water. And I quit using them for several days before I came home and never had an issue. But God, that iodine was horrible. So here we are. Yeah,
I used to put it.
Go ahead, Zach.
I was going to say, I used to take a drop of iodine in a shot glass filled with water in my tinctures every morning. I think the tinctures kind of mask the iodine flavor.
Probably.
I'm going to start doing that. I really have to start doing it. I got to look into getting off Synthroid and looking into doing the iodine, because I don't care how bad it tastes. It's just if it's one of those things that removes the synthetic, fake anxiety and depression that shit causes. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be a way to go. So I just got to find somebody up here that's willing to do that, where I can go to a doctor of some sort that doesn't need a vaccine passport for me to go see them. And that's a thing up here.
Yeah, potassium iodine from Sea Kelp is what I was using.
Okay.
And yeah, you can find that stuff pretty much all natural. There's a lot of, like we said, grassroots, find one of the smaller ones, or someone that started real small. Do a little bit of research, and you can find these people. There's good people out there making good, healthy products that they intended to be good, which is half the battle right there. Instead of intending to poison you, like the stuff we get from Western medicine. So yeah, with a little bit of research, I had a really great couple that ran this store for like 30 years before I moved away from this town. And it's probably still there today, but it was called Back to Basics. And it's one of those places you walk in and there's like 150 giant gallon glass jars full of different herbs and just seeds and anything you could want. Just all natural, everything, roots, grounded, dried roots and stuff like that. And then they had books and books and books that you can go and dig through yourself to find different ways to try to use all this kind of stuff to, fix yourself naturally. Yeah, I've been looking for a place like that around here, but they do exist. Yeah, Back to Basics. They might even be online. I don't know.
We'll have to find a place here. By the way, I just got a text message in Denver. The rain has just changed over to snow. They're going to have a white Christmas in Denver.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, for them.
Yeah. And nice for me too that I'm not there.
Not
So
there.
yeah.
Right.
I'm not a fan of the snow, but I'm glad that they're getting it. It makes it a pretty Christmas and a pretty holiday.
So in my cabinet right now, I have a bottle of Atomidine, I think is maybe how you pronounce it. It's straight from what Edgar Casey has sort of come up with. It's got other minerals and things inside of it along with the iodine. I need to get back on it. I've not taken it in a while, but it's not too terribly expensive. And, I figure it's always worth it. I do remember a story from a very questionable. He wasn't questionable. So the story goes, there was this guy that I met at a sushi joint, right? And he was from South Korea, and he helped Nokia put their first satellite into space for cell service and made a shit ton of money and moved to America to help his sister start her little sushi restaurant. So basically, he was just living off his big fat paycheck that he got from Nokia and hanging out and just, cutting fish on the side, just doing his thing. And we got to talking and got to know each other really well. And he told me this story of some people that lived in Nagasaki, Japan, and they worked at the miso soup factory. And when we came along and dropped our atomic bombs in Nagasaki, everybody was suffering from all of this radiation poisoning and radiation sickness, except for the people at the miso soup factory, who, as it just so happens, were allowed as much miso soup as they could possibly ever want as one of the benefits for working there. So if they ever got hungry, they had miso soup. They just got free miso soup all the time, anytime. And they're saying because of the high iodine content in that miso soup is one of the reasons that it had managed to take care of all that radiation. I just thought it was really interesting. And since he told me that, and it was several years ago, somebody recommended an iodine regimen, and I found Atomidine, or maybe they recommended specifically Atomidine. I thought, you know what? Maybe it's not a bad idea just in case to help take care of some of this radiation that's been going on out there. Christ, you don't want a massive die-off, do you?
Grow a third arm.
And we are lucky here. We have here in South Carolina the highest iodine content in the soil in the country as far as growing conditions and getting it into the vegetables. And that was something it's not easy soil to grow in, but to amend and do that is one nice little benefit. Is it's very, very high in
And
iodine.
strawberries, especially wild strawberries.
Oh, they're crazy here.
They grab the iodine like wild.
Oh, well,
Beans do as well. Yeah, I eat these wild strawberries all the time.
Yeah,
they grow like all year round except
all
for
over the place.
The winter time. But yeah, I mean, you walk out the back door and it's just wild strawberries everywhere. There's like big giant patches that are just growing.
And the east side of the house is, well, that's where we're going to put in berry patches too.
So many people, when they see stuff like that, they want to kill it and grow grass.
Right?
Something you can't eat. You can't eat
no
it.
Nutrients.
You can't turn it into it's good if you have cows or horses or, a goat. Then you'd want some grass. But, I mean, to take away clover. People see clover patches. Oh, I got to get rid of all that clover.
Oh, I love clover.
Like, that's some of the highest nutrition food you can eat.
And it helps the bees and the hummingbirds
But if you have grass,
dragonflies.
it's like having another possession, isn't it? Social status thing, almost.
It is. It was really, the grass was the most interesting one I had before it blew out, and I can't get another one that's shortwave, but I had a shortwave UV laser. Or not laser, but flashlight type of thing that did in a shortwave spectrum, which is unusual because it can be dangerous if you shine it in your eyes. And so it was one of those gadgets I got sent from China that I can't get my little hands on again. But it was amazing is you'd go out at night and you would shine it, and the strawberry plants and that would fluoresce the most vivid vivid ruby red. I have pictures of it. And the grass is just grayed, blacked out at night. But the plants with the high chlorophyll content, chlorophyll fluoresces blood red. Isn't that interesting? So these plants that are all good for us, if you take them and look at them under shortwave, they pitch black glow in the dark, bright red under shortwave UV lighting. And again, the grass is nothing
Yeah,
could be
it's
more
so
ugly.
weird.
It's so weird.
Mm, that is so interesting.
I made Zach go out and look at it like the first time. It was like, oh my God, Zach, you have got to check this out. Guess what color this plant is? And retina is like, no. This is the strawberry and the again the chlorophyll. But again, on the grass, it was nothing. It was just grayed out, no anything at all, no nutrients. But yeah, chlorophyll is a naturally fluoresces blood red under UV spectrum. So those things that we can't eat, they have the blood in them, the thing, the life to them, and the grass is purely ornamental. It has no function for us. You're right. We don't have, if we were a cow and had that type of a digestive system, yes, but for us, no. And where they're making you and the homeowners plant all of the pretty grass, I guarantee you it's in the rules and regulations that you don't get to have any cows on the property. So that ixnays that use out. Cows do not get to use that grass. No, I guarantee you it's in their homeowners agreement. There is no livestock. It's in all of them.
Does that include chickens?
Most homeowners associations have chickens ruled out on them. A few of them, like my homeowners association where I am here, does not allow chickens, but our county allows chickens if you have no roosters, which does not make for very happy chickens. By the way, that's just they get too broody in that it's just not natural again. But yeah, you're allowed to have I think 6 chickens, but you're not allowed to have a rooster. And again, that's not natural.
I know I haven't heard my buddy crow in a while.
In a long time,
It
I worry
upsets
about
me.
our rooster. Yeah, we had a rooster down the street, an illegal rooster, or maybe he's just on the other side of our neighborhood, so maybe he was legal. But we haven't heard him talking for a long time.
What's interesting,
Hi.
St. Louis City, roosters and chickens are allowed. Like in this city, you can raise chickens. I just thought that was strange of all the places. There's lots of rural counties that won't allow for chickens because people like to bitch and moan about the sound and the noise and the smell. But I just thought it was interesting that like downtown St. Louis, you can literally wake up to the roosters crow.
Now, the entire island of Kauai in Hawaii, and it's one of the things I'm in love most with the island. After they had the big hurricane there in, I think it was 92, trying to remember back, but a hurricane came through, and one of the things it did is it broke up all of the chicken coops all over the island. And right now, to this day, and in fact, even more so, it's part of the charm of the island. There are wild chickens and roosters, and when you go shopping and you're in the parking lot at the shopping store, you're walking through the chickens and the roosters, and every morning they wake you up with a cock-a-doodle-doo, but they roam free, cities, towns, country, the entire island. They pretty much, the wild chickens, they're everywhere. And it's just part of the charm there. It's like, hello, chicken. And every morning it would make me like, because I don't know, Bob is like really early, and I'm not a morning person. I'm not. But yeah, the roosters would go cock-a-doodle-doo, and Bob's is like starting to cock-a-doodle-doo back at him, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, chicken. You're gonna kill the rooster. No, it's too early for this stuff. But we'd wind up getting the giggles from them. I mean, terrible giggles from the roosters in the wake up on Kauai. But yeah, I think it's funny. They never tried to. We had a friend with us one year. We used to bring different friends because vacations are more fun, like with friends and showing them the islands, especially when they've never been there. And my guy had newly married his wife from Panama, and she's like, she wanted to get a machete, and it's like, no, I don't think Kauai would be good with tourists purchasing a machete to get the chickens. I think there's probably machete laws against you. Or I bet there are like tourists who can't eat the chickens. Just a silly really cracked us up the whole time. She's like, no, you need to give me a machete. We'll have chicken tonight. And it's like, no. No machetes for Fatima.
When we were in Northern California, we were in Santa Rosa, and it was during like November, so it was around Thanksgiving, and wild turkeys run around everywhere down there. And my husband was trying to go to the store, and I can't remember if it was on Thanksgiving Day, but there was a turkey that just was like walking across the Costco parking lot, like the entry to it, just like like just fucking woo, I'm blocking your way, you can't go shopping, haha. You know, it was like a turkey that
casual,
made it.
Yeah, it's like I own the place. That's how they are on Kauai. It's like they think like, oh, I mean, they will walk into the stores and that they think they own the island. And you know what they probably do, and it works well because nobody tries to deny them that right. I mean, everybody's like very cool with it. Chickens get the right of way.
That's so interesting.
It sounds like a utopian sort of side opposed to like the Canadian cobra chicken that we have up here that are just hateful and terrible beasts.
No, these are...
Well, yeah, because you took them up to Canada.
Yeah, no shit. These are...
I'd be pissed off too.
Hell no, these chickens are in paradise, man. I mean, we're talking Hawaii, the Garden Isle of Hawaii with all the rainfall and the lush. The chickens do not want to be taken off of the island. They do not. They have a great life. They're happy chickens. They are.
They probably help with the bugs and shit too, and like ticks and things.
Probably, and again, they're worked into the island thing. Again, since the hurricane, they just became one with, and it feels right. It feels absolutely natural to have them in the shopping centers and on your yard, walking through and everything. Chicken crossings, it works.
Yeah, there's a type of chicken that they're breeding in Iceland, and they're expensive to get the chicks, but they produce almost just as many eggs throughout the winter as they do the rest of the season. So there are birds that are acclimated to cold weather, I guess, but they were very rare at one time, and they've found them, and now they're really starting to produce them and send them all over the place now. Oh God, Icelandic something, I think. I was looking at them when I was looking into getting chickens. We were going to be up in Michigan, and it gets cold up there. So we wanted something that was going to produce during the wintertime. We were looking for cold weather chicks.
Just get a couple Canadian
not me, man, not me.
Oh, there's a squirrel.
Yeah.
Not a squirrel.
Hank was a good boy. He knew he couldn't catch it. He didn't even try.
We have gardens.
Way out
Squirrels.
the back of the yard.
Yeah, squirrels are not allowed in our yard, and Hank knows that. He protects our. We have gardens. I mean, they would do harm, so he's on it. He takes his duty very seriously.
So I need some coffee, and we've been at this for almost an hour and a half, and I'd really like to get to know you guys. We've had a great conversation, and I know, Miss Maez, you got Josh sitting there next to you. Maybe we'll throw him on this conversation too, because I just like to see where you guys came from and just like to hear your backstories and just to get to know you a little bit better.
Well, he just ran out that way, but I could grab him. Well, it's raining like a motherfucker right now, and he was like out there working, and it's cold. And so he came in, and he's all sitting on his hands trying to warm him up. So yeah, I could grab him and bring him in.
Well, I don't want to disrupt him if he's working, but fuck, it's cold out there.
Right? It's raining.
Come in, warm up.
Yeah, I'll go grab him.
You go grab him. I'll go grab some coffee, see if I can't scrounge up a smoke, and we'll just take a little break. I think I found some Christmas music, I think.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll be right back. And I think I'll hit the head too while I'm at it, because how's that for TMI?
Yeah, there you go. I'll be right back here. I'm gonna run to the loo myself. Got the old man bladder gone.
God bless large prostates.
I don't know if that's the end of the music or not.
I was just listening
Josh.
to that.
Are we having a quiet moment?
Yeah, those happen here at the Realm.
I'm just looking at the stream and we're on the stream right now, audio wise.
Yep.
We were on the stream when the music was playing. We got to hear all about your bathroom adventures.
What, mine?
It's true.
Oh, no.
Same at the beginning of the show, yeah. When the music is playing, we just usually mute up. But it's fun to hear people that don't know that they're live talking what they have to say. Some of our best conversation gets recorded then.
Right. Yeah,
Those personal moments.
No, I have the stream up right now and I have it muted, and I just took the mute off, and it's just like, yeah, okay, yeah, we're there. So we're actually on the stream right now. So we'll just keep it. I won't keep it PC. I'm never PC anyways.
Yeah, that wouldn't be normal here anyway.
I mean, we've seen how many times Miss Maez uses the word "fuck," so I have to keep up with her just to have it sound normal on the screen.
So how long have you been playing guitar, man?
I used to steal my brother's guitar back in '84, so long time. Over 30 years, 35 years.
Pretty steady the whole time?
No, there was a point in my life that I was got involved. I was playing in bands around Vancouver in the early '90s. We got pretty far. Did quite a few things. Recorded some demos and stuff like that. It was really good. It was a lot of fun. I mean, touring around was great. And then got involved with a girl and got involved with another band because the band that I was originally in kind of snuffed out. And this other band was doing really, really good. The name of the band was Dead Model Shoot. And it was so much fun to play in that band. And then I had a falling out with the lead singer, and it was my ex at the time that just turned around and said, "Hey, maybe it's time for you to go back to school." And I'm just like, okay. So did all that, went back to school for 3-4 years. I think it was 3 years or so. And got out, got a job, and then moved to Calgary after that, and kind of put the amp and the guitar in the basement, and then never saw the light of day for about a good 6 years. And then when her and I split, I got back into it. So I've been kind of hitting it really hard since then. So that was her and I split in 2009, roughly around there.
Yeah, that's how I look at my guitar. It's kind of like an old friend that's, always there when you really need to talk.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things when you need it, it's there. But I played probably about 10, 11 years where I played it every day, at least an hour a day. I was not trying to do anything, not trying to join any bands or anything like that, but I just loved learning all these new songs and being able to sing along with them and this and that. And I just really fell in love with my guitar.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like you said, things happen, you kind of move on, start doing new things, this and that. But it's always been there. And yeah, whenever you need it, you can always go right back to it. And it's like riding a bike.
Yeah. I'd probably say it's some of the best therapy in the world that I've ever come across. And it's not because of this being an expensive fidget spinner, but it's along the lines of just going into that creative sort of realm within your own head is one thing. Keeping your hands busy is two. And then, if you're lucky enough to get a bunch of guys together, or people together, a bunch of people together to play in a band, and you go out and play live, whether it be originals or covers, you have that moment where everything just clicks. And to be honest with you, I mean, I've been, I dabbled in drugs throughout my life. I would have to say that playing live in front of a bunch of people when it all clicks and you nail everything is the best drug on the face of the planet. I understand why some of these guys go on tour, and then once they're off tour, they get back into the drugs and get back into because they're trying to reach that high, and they'll never get it, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's not something that can be synthetically recreated.
Yeah, thoroughly. So it's the best thing ever, and it's just getting into that creative space. And it's I even find the more that I meditate, the more that I dive into letting energy flow. Especially when so what I'm doing right now is a buddy of mine owns a studio. I do work for him for free because he gives me studio time when I want to record my stuff. So I got a bunch of songs that I want to do, and so anyways, I'm doing a bunch of work for him. He's like, "Hey, do you want to throw some guitars down on an album that he's doing?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure, let's do it." So he sends me basic song, and I can mess with the arrangements. I could do all this. And so he sends it to me. But the thing is, he's like, "Oh yeah, you've got to check it out first." And I'm like, No. Just send it to me. Just send it to me the way you are, because the first impression that you get when you're listening to a song, if you're going to be putting guitar onto it or whatever, bass or keyboards or whatever, your first impression is probably going to be the right one. And you just have to mold it. Yeah, you just have to mold it to, like, if he's going to like a minor later on and the one chorus part of the song, and it's like, the melody that goes into it, you're going to be throwing into a minor, and you're just like, oh yeah, it just sings to you, and it's just like, yeah, then it pumps you up for the next part, and it just keeps on going. It just keeps on going. The creative process
goes on and on, and it don't stop.
Yeah,
you keep rocking the beat, y'all.
You just have to keep hammering at it. And it doesn't, just don't stop creating, sort the shit out later, because there's going to be a lot of it, but it's just as long as that juice is still flowing. That's the most important thing. It's like, once you start hitting a rut and you stop, that is the worst thing ever. And like, I'm in that moment right now, actually, where I haven't taken a look at some of his music. He sent me like 4 more songs. I'm just like, oh God, I better get back on that.
Here's what I'm finding a bit in music, in that I like things like propaganda, what you speak of, tone, tenor, all of that is a thing for sure. Frequency, and their harmonics ups and downs are cool as shit to me. Like, that's a good fucking hit. Or my buddy I ended up fucking going and having lunch with about a month ago now. He's like, I don't listen to anything that's more or less than 12-string guitar or 8-string bass anymore, like, at all. He's like, that's the bar. I'm like, what? So he sent me a bunch of shit. And I was just like, oh my God, the intake of that was just nuts. Watching, dual fucking 8-string guitars, and then one guy's playing a 12-string fucking git fiddle that, they're just going nuts.
Yeah, some of the greatest musicians I've seen are from like YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
They're definitely not getting paid millions of dollars to go up on stage and shake their asses. That
music's never really super appealed to me. It's always been after the fact. I don't know, maybe as a kid, Depeche Mode, some of that shit, but of the times.
I've seen some motherfuckers get down on a shovel.
Was, the biggest thing. And Red Red Wine, fuck, I remember that song too. My mom loved that song.
That one still comes across my playlist on Pandora every once in a while.
I'll listen to it. Shit, there's all kinds of weird shit from the past.
I think music died for me around 1994. I mean, I still got into a couple bands, Rage Against the Machine after that. But that was right around when I found Rage Against the Machine, was right around then, I think.
Right. I remember
there was a shift.
Oh, yeah. I remember getting like Helmet and some other bands, like from my buddy Jared from New Jersey, on a mixtape, shit like that. It's like, dude, have you heard of these guys? And the old school, like, people made mixtapes and passed them around. Hey, listen to this. I remember
I started going backwards. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I went. I started.
We found older shit like King Crimson and some of that stuff, and then they ended up playing with Tool when I seen them. That was badass. Because that's a drummer from Yes and a few other projects. And that guy's amazing too. Probably, not given the respect that he should have. One of my favorites too to see is Dale Trover from fucking Melvins. That guy's a machine. And then they always play 2 basses.
The Melvins did?
They always do, and it's usually here lately. It's been Pincus and what's his name from fucking the Butthole Surfers, but they typically have a traveling bass, at least one of them, but they usually go dual basses, and a lot of times they'll do dual drumming.
Yeah, that's like old Metatonic disco shit.
Yeah, and I've seen that once. That was fucking awesome. But yeah, I've seen Melvins twice, and both times I'd go see them almost every time, because they're like $30 at a fucking chapel or one of the cool places in Portland. Typically, they play house parties still. Fuck, I'd love to find a place. Let's throw a fucking house party and get a band. And I don't care who it is. Fuck, I remember those days. Fuck, going out to Rose Valley and some other random places. We saw shit in fucking hayfields.
Going to like Flattoberfest. That was pretty amazing. The talent. Musicians and singers. I mean, they were doing karaoke and there was people playing live music.
Right.
That was a lot of fun. There's
any festivals with music. It could be.
Mhm.
God, it just bothers the hell out of me that I live in this communist country. I'd love to get the hell out of here and go down to something like Flattoberfest and just jam with some of those people. Man, that would be so much fun.
Well, see, we just got to break you out, and then you hook up with us, and we'll go.
Yeah, if you could smuggle me to Florida somehow, I mean, like, I have no problem sitting in the trunk of the car because it's Canada.
We just got to get you from there to here, and then you just go with us. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, there you go.
It'd just be uncomfy to get you, into Blaine or somewhere.
Oh yeah. Actually,
We'll
just
take a tunnel. There's probably a tunnel there. Fuck it. We'll find it.
there's tons probably. Just or even just go out to Alberta and like the Blackfoot and Blackfeet reservation, or butt it up against each
Can we
other
get
right
you a
along the border.
helicopter, and we'll get you some skis or snowboard, like a movie. We'll have to get you like a whole utility belt. Fuck it. You'll need, you'll need some snacks. Yeah. Well,
I want a fanny pack.
I have a fanny pack. Totally. I never
I want to put a
understood.
championship belt on this son of a bitch.
I never understood why it was called a fanny pack if you wore it in the front, but
It's a fupa pack. It's a fupa pack.
But the in other countries, your fanny is your front, not your butt. So literally, the fanny pack is because your fanny is your front.
Isn't it funny how they like to mix words like that?
Yeah. I was gonna say we get everything from them too, and it's always a flip, a reverse, like something different.
It's weird.
I remember they
all
would
of our
advertise hip
politics are
packs
that.
in Thrasher magazine in the early '90s.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
So they were all
Well, so yeah,
always
I
hip packs.
was still in California up until '92, so I was in Oceanside,
Mm.
and so I was close to Carlsbad, some motorcycles, skateboarding. I'm pretty sure I saw at least Christian Hosoi as a kid at like a mall in fucking San Jose or some shit. Like back when they used to just throw up ramps outside of malls, outside of places that had, Thrasher magazine show up, local radio, stickers, and fucking whatever else you could grab. And I was just almost getting into racing, and then we moved up here. There ain't shit here. But yeah, it was more abundant, more fun. Definitely, yeah. Thrasher magazine, a lot of BMX magazine. I remember Nintendo magazine. Fuck. My buddy had the subscription. I just went over to his house and read it after he was done.
So when did you guys learn about the shape of the Earth not being round or
spherical?
I've always questioned things. Pressure vessel. I don't know what we are. The Christmas tree analogy though that Austin did was pretty awesome. I thought. We sold a house in which I drew on the basement wall a cone cylindrical thing, and I said, "Here's the sun. Here's the rest of the universe spiraling through. We're somewhere in that, third one down, supposedly." And then to me, we're a pressure vessel within a vacuum. Whether or not we're a flat plate with some sort of weird orb around us that keeps pressure one way or another. I mean, supposedly we're water. There's water everywhere. We have a dehumidifier pretty much going on in the RV all the time. All it's doing is pulling water out of the air. I worked at one place where they make jet fuel, like liquid nitrogen, and they pump half of it over to the steel mill. And like me and my buddy Grant were just looking around, and it's like, you're just distilling water and fucking pulling. Grant goes like this. He goes, "You're just pulling electrons out of the air and putting them into nitrogen." I was like, fuck, this is science.
Science.
It's crazy where my career has gotten to put me into just silly, like, smarter spots than what I felt it was at the time, but fuck, it was a learning experience. And it was awesome. But, so yeah, I've always questioned weird shit. Always been into math. I wanted to be a jet pilot because I lived in Southern California. So Miramar, that was the place that, and I was told, "You're getting too tall to be a pilot." I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I got told that too.
6'2" and I'm lanky. I got a 6'6" wingspan, so I wouldn't fit in a. I'm not Tom Cruise.
You wouldn't fit in a cockpit.
Right.
Well, we're not built to hold our blood in our torso, where you need it to be in your brain.
Right.
Our limbs are too long.
A little bit of feathers, I felt I could fly, really.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I'm a beanpole.
How tall are you, Zachary?
6'2".
16. Okay.
6'1" and 3/4.
They're the same as
technical.
Yes. Let's get technical here.
I bumped it up to 6'2" on the ID.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, but I
Sit up
never hit
straight,
6'2".
get on the inversion table. Maybe I will walk on my back.
For me, the flat earth, I remember as a child thinking about, remembering that, that they used to say it was flat and then they turned it into a globe. And I always wondered how they came up with that idea, but I never really paid attention in school about space and shit like that. That was all, whatever. And then I think I started my awakening journey probably in, I always question things, but like my awakening journey was closer to like 2012. And it just, just things just started to come together and things. So,
and I was very closed off. I was very go to work, get my shit done, come home, get my shit done. Be with the family, feed the fainting goats, whatever I was doing. And that was my mode where she was just coming at me at all angles with, what about this? What about that? Hold on. I just worked 18 hours a day. or 12 hours, and then we fucking had to bury goats or something terrible.
Yeah.
Madness in life. It bleeds in. Fuck. So that always makes you question a lot of shit, Religion, that's always been a thing that I've gone back and forth with, which, I think Christ is a Christ conscious thing. To me, it's mind, body, spirit, and that's health. And I was talking to my boss the other day about that Christmas party thing we did. You can do whatever you need to do, whether it's, my buddy John, his great grandpa had a shot of whiskey, and every once in a while he'd go out and smoke a pipe when he was in the nursing home, but he wanted his little snarful of whiskey, so one of his uncles would go down, or his dad, and have a little shot with him. And they told the nurses, like, listen, he's coming in here, this is how it's going to go down, because otherwise he ain't coming. And they were like, okay, if it's supervised, and, whatever. And he lived to be 90-something. My grandma was saying she smoked like she was on fire. One cigarette right off the other. But still.
Well, yeah, it's all about what
didn't give
kind of tobacco they're smoking, too.
Right. And
a lot of the time.
That mind being
that's true.
Well, and yeah, she was smoking actual native cigarettes.
Yeah.
So less
Cammy and I smoke pipe tobacco, premium pipe tobacco.
That's what we do, too.
All
Mix it with
100%.
our cannabis.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
it's like pork.
It's just like water, it's like
Mm-hmm.
water. If you put a bunch of
pork.
fluoride and poison into it, you're going to poison yourself.
Exactly. And that's why natural springs are good, or different sources of different things, and different tobacco is different across the board. Mm-hmm. Especially going looking at the native stuff of that, because I've looked into that a bit.
Yeah, John Savage wrote a paper on tobacco and how all the health benefits there are to it. Real tobacco, not the stuff you get from Marlboro.
Right.
Well, it used to be apothecary, and God, I don't remember the other name, but basically introduced a lot more in life.
It was used to help clear your lungs if you were in
sinus bronchial,
in like an area that caused agitation to your bronchial fucking tract. You smoke a little bit of tobacco and you cough it out.
There was more shit in the air, I'm sure.
Well, and talking about the beer bug, one of the things that they couldn't release, and when we went into the early science papers on it, is when they were all ready to release, the huge numbers this respiratory disease would have on the smokers, and another illness of smoking. And it turns out that the people that were smoking, they built up enzymes in their lungs, and they were not getting the severe illness, and they couldn't put it out. They had to weigh the benefits to get against the bad, for promoting the fact that the people with cigarettes were not developing the serious symptoms, and they didn't want to put it out because it was to them too bad of a message. That the evils of the cigarette, getting cancer later. Again, you can't recommend people get addicted to that so they don't die.
Right. Well,
you know what I'm saying.
I have an uncle that actually passed away, but he. Well, I'm heading out.
Hold on. What?
Well, if I have any last words, that's what they're going to be for me too. Well, I'm heading out.
Deuces.
Sorry,
Deuces,
my
I'm
dad's
out.
heading out. He's heading up to Bellingham to go see family.
See, that's all we got to get you there. A boat.
Yeah.
We'll get you here, Daryl.
Yeah, I could probably, if I spend a few $1,000s, I could probably get a ocean kayak and just throw everything in there, and I might get shot at on the way across the strait, but whatever.
We'll just have to Sacagawea.
Yeah.
Well, see,
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do about the beard.
you just get one of those rebreathers, you see. And since you're in a kayak, you just roll over and you just go upside down for a little bit.
Yeah,
you
there
just
you go.
float by unsuspecting with the rebreather in your mouth until the coast is clear, so to speak.
Yeah, get you a
and just
6-foot
roll
pole
back over.
Yeah.
And just whack at them when they get close to you.
Or I could just go to the San Juan Islands and just say, "This is still contested, motherfuckers. This is under British Canadian property."
Get some gillyweed. Get some gillyweed and swim through the water like Harry Potter.
So yeah, my uncle who passed away, they actually have the family still produces tobacco cigarettes, King Mountain cigarettes in White Swan, which is the innermost town of the innermost city of
the Yakima Reservation.
Right. So yeah, and he had 13 other companies last I'd known. Like he had a logging company, a construction company, and a couple like convenience stores. He spread out all over the place, and basically threw a lot of money in the community. And it was pretty fucking awesome. But yeah, basically he had 2 Marlboro or Philip Morris master blenders that came over to his side, and even like moved from Virginia and shit. So like it became quite the operation, and it's all basically tax-free native reservation. He had hoops like a motherfucker.
The feds and shit like came after him. Like we were there while they were like watching him and shit. Like they charged his property. I think it was before we got there with his children there, guns drawn and everything. It was fucking intense.
Seized 32 cars because he had Barrett Jackson cars and beef, and he threw money all over the place just to kind of spread it all out to fuck them up. And it's all tax free. And basically he got free and clear and they couldn't do shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Walk away frustrated. And then he'd go out, he had this giant fucking Dodge that he had the baddest fucking like Bose stereo, and he would play elk fucking videos and bring the elk in. Like, that's cheating, you fucker.
Man, I was 41 years old the first time I heard an elk do one of their calls, that weird whistle they do at night.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh my good. I thought it was aliens or something. I didn't know there was things out there that made noises like that.
Chupacabra.
I opened my tent and I'm looking out the window like, what the? I see this thing walking by and I was like, okay, it's not an alien. And then I saw them walking through town. Oh, they're enormous. I didn't know what it was. It looked like a reindeer.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like. I was like, "Nah, I'm in New Mexico. This can't be a reindeer."
I've seen a moose once. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, I've seen a moose twice. Actually, both times I went up into the Colorado Rocky Mountains. This place called Guanella Pass. Beautiful, just gorgeous. Nice. It's got like, big mountain peaks on both sides, and then a big valley down the center that's like, really wide, probably a quarter mile wide. It's not like a little valley. It's a big valley. And when we were driving through, I saw a moose from the actual vehicle, and then I was out. It was early, maybe 6:37 in the morning. And me and Chris Van Matre were having coffee by the fire, and Hank and Min were there. And I'm sitting there, and me and Chris are just talking, and I see this moose walk up right behind Chris, like 30 yards away. And I was like, "Oh shit, moose, 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 moose!" And I went and grabbed both the dogs and just held on to them. Chris turned around real fast, and it saw us, and then just kind of trotted along. Yeah, but man, huge animal.
Yeah, they're respectable size for sure. I remember we were in California when I was in Clear Lake working. I was driving to Ukiah. That was a beautiful drive, but like every morning I'm like, y'all supposedly have bears. I see wild turkeys like she spoke of earlier, like everywhere. And then I'm like, where's your wildlife and shit? You know, like I don't see shit. The next day, there is like a 9-foot cougar that hit a fucking van full of people going to the winery to go pick grapes. And so it scattered shit all over the fucking place. And so there's this person out of this little like Hyundai or some little tiny car that's walked across the road and is right over the top of this cat. And I'm not shitting you, it's 9 foot long plus tail. And I couldn't see what it was at first. I'm like, oh my god, that's a fucking cougar. But what the fuck is that person doing? Like, what if that cat is not dead? You've seen movies. Fuck.
Well, yeah.
One swipe of the paw and you're done. But yeah, I've seen a cougar a couple times. Happenstance.
I've never seen one.
And wow, that's another impressive thing. Holy shit.
Tracked by one.
No, thank you.
Fuck that.
Yeah, we might have been tracked by one. I don't know. Oh, sorry, man.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
No, I was in New Mexico walking around in Capitan, and I guess it's like cougar capital of the United States. There's more cougar attacks there than anywhere else in the country here. And yeah, I had my 9mm on my side, and I just felt so much safer knowing that I had that. And it says even on the sign, it's like you will not see them if you're going to get attacked. They're going to attack you from behind. So keep an eye on your six.
Typically your shoulders, I've heard. Yeah, we've like to hike and do things. Yeah, Arizona too. I was down there by myself, and I bought a mountain bike because I was bored as hell. I rode my motorcycle, and that was fun for a while. But you can only ride by yourself for so long and just go take pictures of the desert. So I get a mountain bike, and I'm cruising around, and everywhere I'm going, there's rattlesnakes and spider signs everywhere. I'm like, fuck, I need a buddy, god damn it. Like, best I had was to tell the guy that I roommated with. He was an IT guy, never left the house. Like, hey, I'll be over there. If you don't see me in 4 hours, call somebody.
Yeah, that's the one thing that was really weird about being out there is it's quite desolate.
Yeah.
As far as humans, you can get out there and it doesn't take you long, and to where you might not have someone come upon you for weeks, maybe even months.
I did want to go to New Mexico. I wanted to venture out that far, but never made it.
Yeah, it's pretty beautiful, man.
I did go to Jerome, and I was in Sierra Vista. That was like an 856-mile ride or some shit. I didn't ride the bike for a while. I was like, nope, I'm done. No mountain bike, no nothing. Like, that's it. It's time to get this job done and get my wife down here and get home.
Yeah, I'm not a mountain driver. I learned that in New Mexico, actually. The Gila Mountains.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you go through the Gilas?
Yep. Oh, my goodness, dude. I was looking at the GPS, and this way was like 120 miles to go around the mountain. We're going through the mountain. It was only 33 miles. But the other way was shorter. Yeah, see, I didn't know that. Yeah, I was like, oh, it can't be that bad. Man, I was white knuckling it the whole way, doing like 10 miles an hour. Just freaking out.
We did
like
that
on the way down. I
didn't. RV.
Oh my gosh.
Goodness.
Yeah, no, thank you. The switchback stuff. Yeah, we had an 86 motorhome, and we were in South Tahoe heading home. So I don't know the area that we went through, but this thing was like,
we headed towards Grass Valley.
Yeah, we were
south side into Grass Valley.
This road was scary as fuck. I had to sit with my boys in the back, otherwise I would have been a serious nervous wreck. He told me, he's like, get the fuck out of the front seat. He goes, you gotta get out of here. You're freaking me out. Like, I have to concentrate. And so I'd like peep up out the window, and I'd be like, nope.
Well, when we first bought it, we went over Bridge of the Gods, and she's in the passenger seat. And I'm like, I need to know how much I have on the side. She goes, I ain't looking. No, I fucking need to know. Yeah, I remember I stopped at the gas station, and I was looking, and I was like, there's a tunnel on the fucking Washington side, or you go over the bridge on the Oregon side, it's all free and clear. And I asked the lady at the gas station, I'm like, what do you think? She looked at it, and she goes, I'd go over the bridge, but pull your goddamn mirrors in. I go, what? She goes, you heard me. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay.
That's gotta be close.
So yeah, I
the Bridge of
sucked
the Gods
mirrors
is
in,
scary.
Yeah, that was nuts. But yeah, cresting that hill in Tahoe was crazy. Like it was like the sun was coming down, so it was just nothing but glare. And like I looked and I'm driving, and all of a sudden it's fucking serene, beautiful. I'm like, oh my god.
And I'm like, oh my god, what?
Look.
Scared me. He's like, it's pretty. I'm like, fuck you, don't say that. You
Oh my god, it's a cliff.
Like, are we gonna die? What's going to happen?
That was fun. Calistoga Pass is crazy too, like El Dorado, that area of California. Yeah, I'm glad we did that one in the RV at like 5 in the morning, 3 in the morning, something. Yeah, that was also the backside of the fires of Santa Rosa.
It's so cool when you catch those at certain times of the day, because you can be out there in the middle of the day and it doesn't, I mean, it's beautiful, but you catch it at sunrise or sunset
or rush hour.
No, not rush hour. The sunrise and sunset, they're breathtaking time, and it is breathtaking. It is breathtaking.
Well, there was a few times where we pulled over just to sit.
That's
to
important.
See the sun in different spots, and because we knew traffic was crap, so you sit for 20 minutes, and it's at least
center.
Way better.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Usually I had a weed pen with me, so that helped.
Yep, much better than driving angry. I am going to listen to you guys' journey. I'm going to be kind of rude, but I can't. I think the chat room understands. We're going to go christen the hot tub, and I'm going to be listening to your journeys right in there. But I am going to exit the show, and I wanted to say happy holidays to everybody in the chat room and to there. And so nice to meet you. And we're going to be talking more, Miss Maez, because I feel like I know you already. So all my love to everybody, and from Bob and from my son Jaron, happy holidays all.
Yes, much love. Enjoy your hot tub.
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want a sauna.
You enjoy.
Well, we'll let you know how this one goes here.
Relax your back enough for me. I want your back so relaxed that I feel it.
Oh, that would be amazing. Let's see if I can do that. And this has got it's got those jets that come up at the top of your shoulders and your deltoids and pull down on it. And I'm curious. I'm
like,
see.
Oh.
I know. I love you guys all.
Love you, Kimmy.
Take care and keep doing the journey because it's very colorful and I want to listen, okay?
Yes.
Give Bob our best.
Will do. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Josh. Describe your wife 25 years ago before you met her. Or when you met her, I guess. You wouldn't be able to describe her before you met her, but describe her 25 years ago when you guys met.
It's definitely an interesting story. I was going from Ari Long to Mark Morris. I'd gotten put into a different class because I got in trouble in the other one. And I actually got in a fight with the teacher's kid. And then I got in a fight with the teacher. So like, you need to go over to Mark Morris and take CPS. So, okay. And so I'm taking the shuttle bus, which is, all the people that don't have fucking licenses like myself. And, can't really ride a bike across town and go to class that fast. So I think I was on it twice. And then the second time, my friend Sonny was like, hey, how's Mark Morris? Blah, blah, blah. I looked at him. I said, I found the girl I'm going to marry. And he's like, what? Did you talk to her? I'm like, no. Not yet. And I was never really one to talk to girls at all, but all I had seen was like her eyes over the fucking seat of the bus, and she was just staring at me the whole time. It was one of those, I'd look at her, she'd look at me, she'd look away. And I was like, I fucking knew a lot of fucking people just because I was, I was a weed guy. I had a lot of fucking friends that would just hand me weed and here, come back with a pile of money and this is for you. Okay. Mediator between Longview and Kelso and the red shirts versus the blue shirts and all the silliness in the 90s. I just rode my bike and liked everybody. So, but I'd never seen her. And what's funny was we had so many friends and so many connections where we should have been hanging out, but missed it by 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, Same thing with a lot of friends that I had, but, small town shit. And so, yeah, I didn't know her at all. She was actually hanging out with my buddy, Tony, before when we were dating, before he even he called me up. He's like, apparently I'm hanging out with your girlfriend. I'm like, what is she doing at your house? Well, she knows Sabrina. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes fucking sense. She lived 2 houses over from him. But yeah, basically, like, we stole away for like a weekend at my buddy's house, and my buddy's brothers, and finally my buddy Julie's his girlfriend was like, you guys are a couple. That's just it. You guys are a couple now. And that was kind of it. And yeah.
Well, we met at a mutual friend's house, and we were both shithouse drunk. That's how we met.
I wasn't as shithouse drunk.
I was fucking totally 3 sheets to the wind. Totally fucking shit.
That's how you do it.
Yes. Especially when you're like 15, 16. Why not?
Lots of vodka. Probably Milwaukee's best.
No, I think that was a screwdriver night. That was the first night that I had screwdrivers, and I made them myself.
Never a good idea.
This much, alcohol in that much juice.
One
Yeah,
finger,
so-
2, 3.
Yeah, I was
Go ahead.
I was bad with nobody liked my drinks either.
Mama was a bartender, so I got to play bartender a lot for whatever reason. And sometimes it was okay, and sometimes I used shit that you could light on fire, like 151 and things. And that was quite the accelerant. One of my mom's favorite stories to tell is like I got duct taped to my fucking bed while my buddy got duct taped to her toilet. We earlier that day, before the party really sprung off, we were smoking cigarettes and playing cards, I think, at the fucking kitchen or the table in the fucking living room. And this is a big oak table that we got from my great grandma. And my buddy Mikey's smoking a cigarette and it's dangling. And I'm like, wrap your lips around that fucker a little better, or grab it with your fingers, please. What? I'm like, there's shots of 151. Like, that's not, And he goes to step over the table, and he's little Mikey, so he's at this time he's about 4'10" maybe, and he had to take steroids to get bigger. So he kicks over a shot, and he just goes, "Oh shit!" There goes the cigarette. Woof! There goes the table. Fuck! Kicks over a few more shots, bigger fire. So my buddy Brandon just grabs the whole table and just flips it upside down and smashes it on the rug. I'm like, fuck. And we had to go get something or do something, so we had to fucking leave. I'm like,
How old were you?
15. Right, this is right before we got together. I think. Right before I was like, I'm done living in this house. It's too crazy. And I'm half the problem, I know. But yeah, like my mom was a bartender, so I got to run wild wherever I wanted, and it wasn't too bad. But I stood around a lot of stupid people, so like got to do some wild things and some wild times, and before we got together. So, but
Yeah, I
not to say we didn't have
experimented.
fun and do stuff, but I mean, yeah, I got a lot of my partying way out of the way as far as heavy drug use, and yeah, before I met her, there wasn't much of a plan to live past 25, nor have 4 kids, or I was the kid, still am. But,
I'm gonna say, fuck, I still am.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you gotta be. Act the way you want to be. Even though I feel broken right now, but my fucking hip and back, and what's going on?
Yeah, I
Hard X,
experimented with the Bacardi 151 one time, and we found my buddy's mom and I were matching shot for shot. And
Oh,
once I
God.
started blowing fireballs, it was like 4 shots in. I'm out of the driveway blowing fireballs at the window. Zach, that was it. Zach was cut off of Bacardi 151 after that.
How was that
I
hangover?
was
next
never
day?
taught that.
No, me neither. I was just drunk enough to go out there and be dumb enough to try it. And
But-
I still remember when I did it. I just had that voice screaming at me, no, 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 no. And then it said, all right, you're going to do it, whatever. This is how you do it. You blow all that stuff out your mouth, and then you stop breathing for a couple seconds. I don't know what told me that, but I remember doing it. And yeah, I survived. I lived through it.
I watched my buddy Brandon one time. He used to take hairspray, and light it. And before, one of them had a sticking agent that was different. It was like an Aquanet, a special one or some shit. I don't remember, but he's doing this fucking thing for like a week on everybody's house. Hey, you got any hairspray? I want to fucking show you something. So he's got a crowd of like fucking 30 people around him, and he fucking sprays his arm and goes to light it, and it don't want to go out. He's putting water on it and shit, and it's just fucking in the kitchen.
God. That's
Like,
terrible.
What the fuck, man?
His arm was on fire from the hairspray?
Yes. And he had a wool glove on and shit.
Oh my God.
Quite the effect. Giant flaming Q-tip for a fucking arm.
Jesus.
Yeah, my buddy,
Children.
we were putting gasoline on like our shoes and lighting it, and then because it burns off pretty quick. As long as you light it real quick and don't let it soak into your shoe. But yeah, we were learning all these different things, and then he's like, "I'm gonna do some on my hand." And he just like covered his hand in gasoline, and lit it, and then like I still remember this. We were like 13, maybe. He shook it out, and then he looked at his hand, and all of a sudden the fire just went woof, and lit back up. And he's running like, when you're 13, you don't think, okay, stick it under your arm or cover
One of
it
you
up.
sort of thinks.
Yeah.
The buddies.
If we would have been bajillionaires with all the hits on YouTube with the videos, it was a different world back then.
Yep.
It was.
I'm so
invited to Jackass, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm so glad there wasn't camera phones back in the day. Oh my God. Oh.
My buddy Tony, his birthday was the 2nd of July, or still is. And so explosives were always our thing. Like when I first met him, my stepdad bought me 8 bricks of bottle rockets. Bricks. Went to the res, and he's like, "Here, this will make you some friends in the neighborhood."
Yeah, my buddies did that too.
Fuck yeah, dude. So yeah,
My
we ran
buddy's
up
dad
to the
did that.
store and bought every wiffle ball bat that they had and cut the end off, so we had rockets. Yeah, I became the big hit of the fucking I was 12 and we just moved from California, so I made friends real quick.
Yeah, we had lots of bottle rocket wars, to the point where we got tired of playing with the bottle rockets, and we would start taking them apart, getting all the white phosphorus powder. Yeah, if I take 30 of these and take all that white powder and put it in here, man, that's really neat when we light that on fire. This big giant white flash and a big puff of smoke. That's awesome.
Did you ever have screechos down there?
Yes.
So, yeah, we call them whistlers.
Yeah, whistlers. So if you actually hit those with a hammer and then gray tape it.
Yep, peel them back
you don't even have to peel it back. Just gray tape the entire thing really, really tight. Light it. It explodes like a M80.
I see people split like a biscuit, basically, or like a biscuit tube, and then fold it back on itself and same thing. Tape it and then hammer it and then tape it again, and it gets after it.
Yeah, a quarter stick of dynamite, pretty much, almost.
So yeah, we got quick Tony story. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we got to the point where there was no firework at a store that did it for us anymore. So we went to black powder with PVC and then with steel pipe. And then once we started doing steel pipe, we learned real quick that we should not be playing with this stuff at all. Nobody got hurt at all. It's amazing. I can't believe nobody was seriously injured. But one of my buddies, high school bell out in front of our high school, and he was FBI came. He was on their list, but they still let him join the Marines. Imagine that.
If his eyesight's good, his trigger works. Put him in there.
Let me guess, he's in military demolitions now.
No, he is actually a nurse.
Oh,
what the fuck?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Catch him on the other side.
So, okay.
In the military, he was a Hummer gunner, or he was on the back of a Hummer, armored Hummer, doing a 50 cal or a 30 cal.
Jeez.
One of those guys. Life expectancy in combat was like 7.8 seconds or something like that. Yeah. Thank God he'd never had to see combat. No. It was peacetime when he was in.
So, yeah, my buddy Tony, he'd just gotten his license, so he's like, we're going to the res this year ourselves. Okay. So we get up there, and I got to negotiate because I'm the redskin, not him. He's Italian. And he's a chicken shit at the time. He's just like, I want something big. So I'm talking to the dude. I'm like, all right, what do you got in the back? Like, what do you got that's going to move fucking Earth? So he's like, he looks around. He's like, all right, let's go in the back. So we go to the back. He's got the little shed in the fucking back behind the trailer, and yeah, he gets a quarter stick of dynamite. Tony's like, "Fuck yeah, let's get that one." You want to look at nothing else? He's like, "Nope, that's the one." So he packs that fucker around for like 3 days, and I'm like, "What are you gonna blow up?" He's like, "My paint can that's full of pennies." He had an old paint can that was, fucking jar of pennies that was like half to 3/4 full. I'm like, this might be a fucking bad idea. He goes, no. We'll go up to Mount Solo. We'll fucking prop some shit up. You'll videotape it with the mom's camcorder, which, fucking big RCA, giant fucker. I'm like, all right. Because it's like, I'm thinking, what the fuck else is he going to want to blow up? Because it's Antoine, and you never know. Daryl knows this. His nickname was Boner.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to forget.
And so we fucking hike up the mountain one day finally and smoke a fucking joint. And it's like, all right, let's fucking do it. So I get behind a tree and a rock, and I'm propped up, and I got the fucking camcorder. He lights that fucker, and he goes behind another fucking rock, and we're just sitting there. And all of a sudden, just a woof. Evaporated a fucking paint can to nothing. And meanwhile, pennies were flying fucking everywhere. You could just hear them zinging past. Fucking stuck in trees, I'm sure, in the ground. And who knows where the fuck they went. But yeah, we heard sirens, and I was like, let's get the fuck down the hill now. So that was like our last big explosives, because he was like, dude, that was intense. Fuck yeah, it was.
Terrible idea.
Yeah, and some of that 12, 13, 15-year-old, 16-year-old shit that, I think we were still together, but or maybe right before we were
weren't together yet.
Yeah. Shenanigans, fucking teenage stupid shit.
Shenanigans. So what are the chances we can get you guys back on here again? I'd love to have you on again, but separately. Get BooDa on, then get Josh, you and Miss Maez come back on, and extend this out a little bit. This whole freaking
I'm in. That'd be fun.
Christmas Eve threw me off.
Well,
damn it.
Yeah, it's their day. It's not ours.
Right.
The way I look at it, this is the day that marks the last day that the sun is out.
Yep.
Tomorrow, the 26th, the sun starts coming back in.
Yep.
We can celebrate that. I like the sun.
Me too. Keeps me
when it's
warm.
closer. Yeah.
Her birthday's close to winter, and then mine is close to the first day of spring.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The real New Year.
That was weird.
Yeah, no, we just both talked at the same time, and it cut out. The audio cut out for me for you. So I'm just sorry. What did you say?
Oh, I said that's the real New Year.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got to get you on too. You and Zach out at either same time, different time, because I'd like to dive into that story too. Find out how.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, anytime. Well, Wednesdays I'm usually working.
Right.
You guys are live.
We'll have to set up a different time. Totally.
But yeah, I'm open.
Whenever.
Good idea, definitely.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that'd be great. Then we'll really dig in a little bit. But this has been an absolute awesome time. I am still going to have to get off here and hopefully still be able to hop in the shower and clean up a little bit before I go do the family thing.
Wash off the Walmart.
Oh, as if that's even possible. It's never hot enough to get that feeling off.
You couldn't use enough fucking bleach to get that off.
Like fluoride, you need a special filter.
It's also multifaceted too, because you have to sit and do like a deep energy cleansing too from all the shit that's attached to you from that hellhole. Yes. I don't like Walmart if you haven't noticed. So
yeah, it's it's my last resort. If I can't find something that I'm looking for somewhere else,
there's usually a sign.
I know it's there. I'll go, but for the most part, no.
Yeah.
Walmart quit being fun when we I remember we did acid one time, or mushrooms, and went there and they used to have a guy that would show up all the time and do go-karts in the summertime for about 2 months. And we ended up being buddies with him. We'd go get gas for him and shit and oil. And he'd let us ride the shit out of him for, here's $3. All right, well, just run the shit out of him until somebody shows up.
Well,
so that was a blast.
Awesome.
Yeah. And he started that as they were working on it. So yeah, it was fun. We're racing construction guys and shit. talking shit the whole time, playing Mario Kart basically for real. And his daughter, she fucking whooped our ass. She raced literally.
Oh yeah, she's lighter.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
little-
She's leaning in the corner,
cars.
and, like halfway hanging out, and just destroying us. My buddy Tony was pissed.
Yeah, that's why I was a good go-kart racer when I was younger, before I got all this length to me.
Yep, yeah. You got wind drag and shit. There's definitely more to the story, but yeah, you gotta go. I know I got shit I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming inside, warming up a little bit, hanging out with us.
Yeah, it started to get real shitty out. It tried to snow for a minute.
Yeah.
Daryl, you can keep that. Sorry.
Yeah, well, it's just starting here. Just starting to snow again.
Well, I don't know. I might jump on with her Sunday, or I don't know. We've been talking about doing something else too, possibly. But yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll go from here.
Good.
Life's an adventure, and there's lots more to tell on this one.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, thanks again, guys. That was fun.
It was a really good time.
Yeah, thank you.
Definitely want to do this again.
Yeah.
I don't have to divide attention. It's interesting. Angela Carson in chat saying she's had a kink in her neck for a week. I've had a kink in my back for a week. It's like my it's that weird movement of a rib somehow. Maybe I coughed too hard, part of getting old. And so it just never did settle back in. And now I just hit that one position and I can't breathe and I start grunting and groaning and sounding like I'm a lot older than I really am.
Sucks.
It does. So, healing vibes to all of us old fuckers.
To that.
Yes.
To that.
Yes.
With that, I think we're going to get out of here. So thank you guys so much. Make sure you come hang out on Tuesdays and Friday mornings over there on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. We go early. It's 4 a.m. Central Time. So lucky you if you live in a time zone where that's not quite so miserable. Otherwise, we'll see you right back here next Friday night for another episode of Have No Sphere, right here on the Iron Realm Media Channel. Love you guys. Be good, be well, and bye-bye.
Oh, that was awesome.